Hello everyone, my name is Mark and I want to make a non-scripted video about Persona 5 and just speak from heart and talk about how I feel about this game 7 years later, or for me it's been 5 years or so. I got into this game around a year after it came out, after playing at the time when this game was new, I was religiously playing Breath of the Wild when the Switch was the new hot thing, and after that, then I was playing Final Fantasy X, and I was still hungry for more like turn-based games. And one thought that came to my head was like, oh yeah, Persona 5. Like I heard that was like a really fantastic game because I like turn-based games. I think they're really good. One of my favorite genres. And I remember watching an IGN review or maybe community fan reviews about it, and everyone saying it's a good thing. But obviously, there's some nitpicks. Like, this isn't a perfect game. This game I bought for $25 at EB Games. At the time, it was called EB Games before I switched over to GameStop in Canada. And it's one of the best purchases I made. This game hooked me day and night. I've never felt like this about a game in so long. Like, this game was actually fantastic, really, and what I would give to go back in time and play this game again for the first time, really. Obviously, this isn't the best version of the game anymore. You would want either this one or I guess this useless copy. It should have been a free upgrade. I bought this game 4 times, keep in mind, and that's how much I care for this game, how much I love it. I beat this game 6 times. I beat this one twice. I beat this one twice, and this one is still sealed, but I decided to play the re-release of Royal on PC, the best version there is, and wow, it's like playing the game for the first time again. I like how all the DLCs were free because I don't like their DLC practices. I think it's an absolute joke. Like, don't tell me that you think it's worth spending, God, I don't remember how much it was, like a lot of money for Kasumi outfits for just one part of the game. I think that's such a waste of money, and thankfully the only DLC I bought was the battle DLC, the one that you fight the protagonists for Persona 3 and 4, which was really fun, but I still think it was overpriced. Should have been $5. But not even, it should have been included in the game, to be honest. But what can you say? Like, I remember this game, honestly, for the flaws it has, it's still good to this day. It really is. I have tough love for this game. This game isn't perfect, obviously. Like, even the vanilla or royal version, the Kumara Palace is still dog shit. It really is. And what else can I say that it's not really good? The Mementos dialogue. I hate that the Mementos dialogue cuts off for anything that you do when you get off the platform to go to the next floor, or when you're like fighting an enemy, or what else? Even if you drink a cup of water, the dialogue just gets cut off. You can't enjoy it to its fullest. What I usually do is that when two characters are talking, I stop and let them finish. I don't want to do that. I just want the dialogue to just go with the flow. It's just only 2 sentences, really. That's it. Two quick dialogues, and I just hate that it gets like cut off. It just ruins the immersion of the game, which I really, really dislike. And what I like about Royal is that in the original game, when you use your guns, the ammo doesn't replenish. In Royal, it does. I really do appreciate that, and I like some quality life improvements, like most of the final bosses per dungeon, like Kamoshida up to what else? To Shido. I believe up to Shido, their boss fights have been revamped to be something completely different. Well, similar, but then there's like they added another phase or they changed it up. Like how in Madarame, that boss fight in Royal, they added like copies of him in element form, which wasn't in the original game, but I really do appreciate that. I really do. And the story, even though it's the same story from Royal, like no duh. It's like, for example, Kingdom Hearts to Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, like what Square Enix did. That's like what they're doing right here, but different. But at least Square Enix doesn't have like bad DLC practices in Kingdom Hearts. I don't believe it's just buy it. Oh, we have more ideas. We're gonna release it again. But I feel like in today's ages, it could have been a DLC. But I feel like Royal has been worked around enough that they can't release it as a DLC. It's like they had to restructure the game from vanilla to Royal to add Kasumi. At the time when Royal was announced, I really thought Kasumi was gonna be like, for example, like a female protagonist, like what they did with Persona 3 Portable. Um, I guess I'm not mad what they did. They added more characters, and Kasumi's story in the final like added dungeon in Royal was really good. I like my favorite part about the game was actually the final dungeon of the game. That was really good. Same with like Sai's Palace. That's my second favorite. At the time before Royal came out, Sai's Palace was my favorite. And now after Royal, it's Dr. Maruki. His palace story and arc is like really fantastic, and that alone is like worth the purchase if you played the original game. And I gotta say, wow, it was like actually fantastic. I'm glad that they didn't do Kasumi as a female like protagonist, because it just adds to her as a character. Because one of my biggest pet peeves about art like main characters in RPGs is the silent treatment. I really hate that with a passion. They did this with Persona 5, obviously what I'm talking about. They did it with Dragon Quest. I don't like that. I really don't. Like that trend needs to die, and I feel like the main characters like Joker and like Dragon Quest characters need to have a voice. They really need to make them feel like your own character. I understand that they did that so that Joker is or like other characters that have the silent treatment, to feel like that you are that character, like you choose what you say and you are the main character, your own main character. But still, I'd rather have a main character that speaks more than 5 times, instead of them just like talking when they're summoning their persona or saying attacks and all that stupid stuff. But that's just me. Maybe that's actually maybe everyone, because like I can't speak to someone that thinks that, or sorry, let me reword this. I can't think of anyone that would say that silent protagonists are okay in their book. I don't understand why you would like that. I guess that's, you do you, but I'd rather have a good main character that actually speaks more than once. And or like some one-liners. I want them to have a full character arc. I want them to feel like a character part of the game, not just an avatar. I don't like that at all. Hopefully in Persona 6 they ditch that idea and actually have a competent voice actor of a main character. They speak and actually feel involved with the story instead of them saying one-liners. But that's just me. Next topic is that I don't like that this game and even other Atlas games have really, really bad DLC practices. And I guess it's my fault for buying this dumb game 4 fucking times. Pardon my language, but I bought this, I fell in love. I wanted to play Royal, and I got this, the Fan of Thieves edition. At the time when this came out, I was kind of nervous because COVID was a huge deal. And I was like, how am I going to go pick this game up if GameStop is closed? But luckily, they called me and they shipped it to my home for a few select games that were new, like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Persona 5. That's all I can think of. Maybe there were other ones. Maybe Resident Evil 3, I think. And yeah, and I like that game made my like COVID at home stay like fun. This really did keep your sanity. And because COVID was like such a horrible time just to stay home. But I'm lucky that I graduated in 2018 before COVID started really hitting the fan. A couple years after that, or a year after that, because it started in 19 and didn't hit till 20, like as a serious thing. And a couple years later, I heard that it was going to come out on modern consoles, on PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One too, and what else? PC, the best version. I don't understand why the people who are like loving it over on Nintendo Switch. I understand it's the most requested game to be on Nintendo Switch, but damn, I understand it's portable as well too, but dang, that hardware aged. It really did. Like, they should have held that off for the next Nintendo system that's like gonna come out in a couple years or next year or so, what I've been hearing from articles. But that's just not the way to play that game. I think the Nintendo Switch version is obviously the worst freaking version of that game. I know that even the PS4 version looks a little better, but the Switch version, the quality, resolution wise, it just tanks. It really did. I can't play it on there. Maybe I'm just spoiled because of the PC version and PlayStation version. But also one thing I really disliked is that from this to this, it's not a free upgrade. I got suckered into buying this copy and the copy on PC, which was very unfortunate, but I guess that doesn't affect me because I wanted the Steelbook mainly. That's why I bought this version. And I guess I'm okay with that, but it's just very unfortunate that Atlus is very greedy about like topics when it comes to re-release upgrade or whatever, but of course what I mentioned before, their DLC practices. But that aside, how like the game itself, how is it 7 to close to 8 years later from Japan release? This game held up really, really freaking well. It really did. I beat this game 6 times, and that just shows how much I love this game to this day still. I just recently beat it on PC again for the second time, so 222. But I'm not gonna play this version. Like, I don't. Maybe if I want another platinum, maybe. But other than that, I would say go and buy this game if you never owned it or played it. On PS5, it's definitely worth it, because if you never owned it on PS5 or PS4 actually, go for it. Or even on Xbox. I think what's cool about Xbox and PC is that you don't have to buy the game. You can just use Game Pass and just subscribe to it. Because if you're not sure about how you feel about this game, I would suggest by playing it on Game Pass and go from there. Because this game, I'm gonna tell you right now, this game isn't for everyone. It really isn't. If you are that type of person to like quick pace action, like for example Spider-Man 2 that just recently came out, by the way, really good game. And what else? I guess games like Uncharted, or I guess Final Fantasy X, for example. The Final Fantasy X and Persona 5 are two different types of games. Obviously, they're both turn-based games, but Final Fantasy X really doesn't hold your hand at all. It's just you're in the action, story gets going right away. With Persona is that the first like 8 hours of the game is really a slog. It's really slow. It really is. The first palace, Kamoshida's palace, which I think is like the best story compared to all 7 of them, besides Maruki with the 9 palace. The 8th palace of being Mementos is I think is engaging, but not as good as the first palace in my opinion, because that was like an intense storyline. But yeah, if you get past Kamoshida's palace, once the game starts opening up to do other things, it's really such a good time. It's like, it's gonna sound like a no life thing, but they feel like they're your real friends. They really do. It's like you want to check up on them every time when you play the game. It's like, dang, I wonder how Ryuji's doing. You know, he's my homie. And yeah, these characters, like one of the best written characters in any game I've played, really, honestly. and I'm really hoping Persona 6 they do better. I really do. If Persona 5 is really good, I want Persona 6 to be fantastic or like phenomenal. Uh, yeah, this game is really long. This base version is 80 hours. Don't play this. If at the time it was good, but not anymore. The Royal version is like 100 plus hours, like 120. Alone Maruki's Palace is like 15 hours long. Around there, maybe 12, because I don't see it being 20 hours long. What some people say, it's just in and out quickly, and I don't want to drag this video too long because it's already 15 minutes in, and I at the time when this game came out, I was the same age of these characters, which was insane. And to think that in July 2024, I will be 24 years old. And the fact that this game is still the relevant mainline release to this day is kind of unfortunate, because I really want to see Persona 6 be a thing a couple years ago. But I feel like I've heard that Alice wants to make Persona 6 a huge step up, like what they did with Persona 4 and 5. They want it to be a huge step up, which was, and I really have high hopes for Persona 6. I'm really hoping it doesn't shit the bed. I really hope it doesn't. And the fact that Persona 6 is gonna take maybe a couple years longer really shows promise on how much they really care for this development of that next game. And I really hope they cook. I really hope they're cooking good. And I hope, what I wish for Persona 6 is that there's no shitty DLC practices, but I highly doubt it. And I hope it's not locked off to PlayStation only, but only time will tell if like Sony would buy an exclusive deal for it. But after seeing that Persona 3 Reload is having a worldwide release besides Switch on every platform is really like outstanding, and I can't wait for that. And I'm gonna get some shit for this, but I'm happy that this Persona 3 Reload is not coming on Switch. It just really drags, like coming out on Nintendo Switch, it really would drag down what the game was meant to be. But even though it's coming out like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, kind of lame. But I wish it was only a next gen game, because look, if they really just put the efforts onto current gen and PC release, I bet that game would be phenomenal with what they could do with it. But I feel like PlayStation 4 is still competent for that game. Same with Xbox One. Maybe just tank the resolution, that's it. But everything else is like fantastic. I really can't wait for that game to come out. Same with Persona 6, whenever that is. But to close off everything, what I think about Persona 5 almost 8 years later, Japan time. Once again, I think I mentioned it before, go buy it or play on Game Pass. You'll definitely have a really good time with it. And you're still not sure, try it on Game Pass, get past Kamoshida's Palace. That's a slow start. Really good storyline though. You'll just be glued to your seat and you want to see what happens at the very end. It's really cool. Like, I didn't mention this, but Persona 5 is about you being a high school student with a probation, with a criminal record, right? Pardon me. And you have to live out 1 year in Shibuya, Tokyo Shibuya, and you're technically like a delinquent student. No one likes you because they're scared of you because you did assault, like false assault, right? And over time, Joker gets friends. He forms the Phantom Thieves with his new comrades, and it's just really cool. It's like, think of it as a superhero game. It really is, because I got the motivation to play it again after beating Spider-Man 2, and wow, and it's like I'm playing the game for the first time again. Like, really, really did. And other than that, that's all I have to say about it. Honestly, if you're not playing this game or thinking about playing it, you're really missing out, and I really hope that eventually you'll have the time to play this game, because this game will take you a while. This game will really take you a while, honestly. And then if you beat Persona 5 Royal, you can play the next game that's coming out, Persona 5 Tactica, or there's this game called Persona 5 Strikers, is a sequel of this version of the game, not Royal. So if you play Persona 5 Strikers, don't forget about Dr. Maruki and Kasumi. Those characters don't exist in Persona 5 Strikers at all. But other than that, go play Persona 5 Royal. I think you'll definitely have a great time with it, and then your perspective will change about like what good games are. But or maybe you have fine taste and you think Persona 5 would be a good game. You have other games that you think that's a good game, or if you've never played a game as good, like a good game in a while, it's like, dang, everything else I'm playing is kind of dog shit, and I want to play something good. This game, go for it. That's all I have to say, and you guys take care.